Welcome to Hagersville, Ontario for round number 10 of the North American Auto Club GripAll Challenge Series season, the Canadauto Ontario 200. This is the first race we are holding in Canada this season, and it comes right after a momentum shifter in the Northeastern Blast. The field heads into 3 consecutive races in 3 of the shortest tracks in the season, including the shortest road course and the shortest oval overall. And Lucy Barnton has taken the championship lead from Rebecca Pellerin by a single point. After, of course, a very messy race in the Ocean State Speedway. Since almost half of that 50-lap race was ran under yellow, the officials have gotten everybody in a room in the drivers' meeting and have asked them pretty please with sugar on top if you can up the driver standards, or else we're gonna be strict once again with penalties. It does seem like most people have gotten the memo, and I think we might hope for a very much cleaner race tonight. Taking the pole position here in Canada is Blake Chandler in the 03. Sharing the front row with him is Connie Brooks, and the new championship leader Lucy Barnton starts right ahead of the person 1 point behind her, Rebecca Pellerin, who's flanked by Lee Schmidt in row 3. Ruby Carson and Vicky Murata starting in row 4, and Jamal Schmidt and Thomas Tucker bring out row number 5. Failing to qualify are 4 teams that entered only these races in Canada: Terry Coburn, Kendall Hendrick, Ashley Elliott, and Charlotte Elliott. The Jukasa Motor Speedway is 0.625 miles, and we're gonna have 200 laps, 125 miles. We should have a single pit stop around lap 115, 120. The track isn't the most banked short track we go to, but it's probably the most banked track we have in Canada right now. And we should have a pretty interesting race as the weather looks overall pretty fine. A cool evening with very weak winds, and we have no chance of rain. Let's go trackside. As you see the pace truck getting ready to pull out and leave the field in the hands of Blake Chandler for the green flag for this 200-lap race. The green flag is out, and he has a fantastic start over Connie Brooks. Lucy Barton already getting ready to attack the 28 and already making a move on turn number 2 and coming to the back straight away. Lucy Barton already running in second, chasing down the 03. Barton knows she needs to increase that points gap over Pellerin, and starting ahead of her was one half of the battle. Now she needs to finish ahead of her, and by the start of lap number 2, she's already stalking the number 03 as Pellerin stuck in the 5th position, chasing down Lee Schmidt, but Schmidt it's able to free himself from the rest of the group, and it's Lee Schmidt, Jamal Schmidt, and Rebecca Pellerin. So it's 3 cars in the Luke Star Ernest Lewis Alliance working together, trying to gain some headway, and we already have trouble with the 69 of Peter Johnson. Problems. The tire is down on the 69. He's gonna stop on track and bring the first yellow flag of the race. Chandler is gonna lead the field to the green, but he has a terrible start compared to Barton. Barton on the outside trying to already take the lead. Is it gonna be enough? Looks like it's not. Chandler survives 3 wide between Schmidt, Barton, and Schmidt. And there goes Lee Schmidt on the inside trying to go for second place. Is it gonna work? Doesn't look like he's gonna get a jump on the 98 as we open lap number 17 of 200. Here comes the 43 on the inside once again. 55 on the outside, and Rebecca Pellerin already making the move on the inside of Jamal Schmidt. And here comes Lucy Barton on the inside of turn number 3 and gets the move sorted on the inside of turn number 4, and Lucy Barton's the new leader. As Rebecca Pellerin now on the inside of the 55 of Jamal Schmidt. They're fighting it very closely, but looks like Rebecca's gonna have the upper hand. However, the 55 is not gonna sell the position very cheaply to his teammate. As Peter Johnson's back on track a couple of laps down, he is now 32nd place. He's running in last, trying to just bring the car home to get a few points for his Rookie of the Year effort. Now you see in the middle of the field Scott Overton making his debut in the number 62 car. Here he comes on the inside of the 85. Not gonna be enough to make the move. As Patricia Stage also making her debut in the Challenge Series. She runs in the Canadian Late Model Championship, and she's running in 28th place. Not a lot ahead of what we expected. as Lucy Barnton currently leading, now lapping the 200 of Kip Lemon and going after the number 69 of Peter Johnson once again, as Blake Chandler running in second, a very lonesome second place, with Jamal Schmidt and Rebecca Pellerin slowly catching him as they have gone past the 43 of Lee Schmidt, as Lucy Barnton now working her way into the 99 of Kelly Ashcroft. As they hit the back straightaway, they have already lapped Emily Pauvin and Scott Overton, and I think that's Megan McDonald right behind them. And there goes Lucy Barnton, making it look super easy by the time we reach lap number 43. And now she sets her sights on the number 8 of Matt Stern, as Rebecca Pellerin making a move on the 03 of Blake Chandler. There she goes on the inside at the stripe, and Rebecca Pellerin's gonna take the second spot as she's getting ready to lap the 14 of Adam Patterson. And running right now in the top 20 is Caitlin Richler and Joy Thorson. They make contact for 14th place. That could have been ended way worse than it did, as you see Tammy Barton right there running in the 13th position with Connie Brooks right ahead of her. Not a very good start for Brooks, as they're coming to lap the 66 of Patricia Stage. They make contact. Tammy Barton keeps it steady, keeps it straight. And that could have ended much, much worse than it did, as we are now closing in on a full quarter of this 200 lap event. Lucy Barnton has lapped the 85, but Charlie Faulkner has had a little bit of a hard time to lap the 85, but there she goes, making it look easy as she laps the number 9, the number 23, and she's coming around the 66 of Patricia Stage once again to put her 2 laps down. Not enough yet. There she goes, and she almost makes a 3 wide on Kate Taylor, as Lee Schmidt now battling with his de facto teammate Rebecca Pellerin, and there he goes for the second spot, but Pellerin's not gonna give up. She's on the outside, which is not the preferred line. They're fighting it very, very tightly with the 55 of Jamal Schmidt, so there's no team orders here, there's no conundrum. They're battling for position just as much as they would in any other circumstance, as Ruby Carson has gone past the number 03 of Blake Chandler, and now she's in 5th. As you see, a 3 wide between Lee Schmidt, Rebecca Pellerin, and Jamal Schmidt. Problems. Tire down on the 81 camp. Corbin Dempsey to the pits on lap number 65. His race comes to a screeching halt, and he's gonna have to bow out from the battle. Kirk Jones currently running in 11th place, trying to gain a few points in the championship run. However, with Lucy Barton leading and dominating this race, that's not gonna be the case at all. So he's trying to bring the best result he can to put the Overton team up ahead. And as you see, Lucy Barton just lapping him. You see her stats. She's currently leading the championship. Her average finish is one of the best in the series, if not the best, at 12.2. She has 3 wins and 3 poles. Most wins, most poles, just running away with all stats, as Rebecca Pellerin, by the time we reach lap number 75, has already opened a little gap over Jamal Schmidt. Lee Schmidt has bowed out from the battle, as you see Jamal running in the 3rd position, having a very consistent and strong run. He finished 2nd place in the championship to Kelly Ashcroft. Pellerin finished 3rd. This is Jamal Schmidt's 4th season in the series. He's been very solid, extremely strong, has shown a lot of pace, has won last week in the Ocean State Speedway. He's a driver that if he goes on a rampage and starts climbing, he can win the title, as Ruby Carson has gone through the 43 to take the 4th position, running very well. And as you see, 6th place, Blake Chandler now under threat of being lapped by Lucy Barton. Barton making a look there, and she makes the move on the inside, and we now only have 5 cars on the lead lap, as Blake Chandler has fallen a lap down to Lucy Barton. He's running in 6th. That's a good result regardless, but yeah, 5 cars on the lead lap, now 4, as Lee Schmidt gets lapped by the 98, and here she comes to lap the 14, set her sights on the 77 of Ruby Carson and the 200 of Kip Lemon, as Patterson makes a move on the 200 to take the position. Let's see Barton as she goes through the 200, sets her sights on the 14, and she's gone. She makes it look super easy as she goes through the 14. And there she goes on the inside of the 77 and the 85, making a 3 wide. She's not wasting any time as we open lap 100. We enter the second half of this race, and Lucy Barton has just completely dominated since she took the 1st position. She is just running away with this one. The gap is just insurmountable. and she's just keeping it steady as we are approaching the pit cycle. And look, Pellerin into the back of the 66 of Patricia stage. And he's running in 17th place, which is not a very good result for his championship hopes. Rebecca Pellerin still running in 2nd place, just lost that 2nd position to Jamal Schmidt, who is now going after the 23 and the 85. As Lucy Barnton now about to lap the 27, they almost make contact on the back straightaway at lap 113. Almost make contact once again on turn number 3. And Lucy Barnton now has put all but 2nd place a lap down. And Lucy Barnton is now one of the 2 cars in the lead lap at lap 114 of 200. We still have 85 laps to go. As defending series champion Kelly Ashcroft running 16th, just not very well at the halfway point of the field. In 16th place, she's not gaining, she's not losing, she's just stuck. As you see the 98 just building a gap on the number 99, going after the 2 in the 97, and you see Jamal Schmidt. Look at how big the 98 is on that camera. Jamal Schmidt, I think he's scared because here comes Barnton, and Barnton's in a rush. Schmidt's running in 2nd. That's not good. If Lucy Barnton puts the whole field a lap down, this is gonna get really scary. Because I would be afraid for the championship, because that's one of those types of moments where your morale just craters. And as you see the 98 going through the 28 of Connie Brooks, is she? She does. And problems for Ruby Carson right after Lucy Barnton has lapped the 55. Ruby Carson has broken down from 4th place, and she stops in the middle of turn 2, and Connie Brooks strikes the 77 for some reason. I think she just did not have space to react. And as you see, the entire field comes to the pits, and Lucy Barton's currently the only car on the lead lap. But because of the lifeline rule, you're gonna see shortly that Jamal Schmidt's gonna be back on the lead lap. You can see it in the graphic, and we're only gonna have 2 cars on the lead lap. As you see the 2 just going through, and now Jamal Schmidt's back on the lead lap. This leaves us with 2 cars on the lead lap with around 60 laps to go. It's gonna be interesting to see if we get more cautions, more cars getting put back on the lead lap through the lifeline rule. And it's what they say, cautions breed cautions. Jamal Schmidt did take time to go to the pits, put a splash of fuel just to make sure, and he restarts at the back of the field. That's why Riley McKee already recovering his lap going through the 98, and now Riley McKee is the 3rd car on the lead lap, so it's working. And you see in the back of the field, Kip Lemon getting passed by the 03 of Blake Chandler. Contact with the 62, contact with the 9, and that's another caution. Kip Lemon has been spun around, and this is gonna put Rebecca Pellerin back on the lead lap as Riley McKee, who was 2 laps down. I'm sorry, let me correct that. Riley McKee was 2 laps down. He is now 1 lap down, as Rebecca Pellerin is now the 3rd car on the lead lap. Kristen Young blows up from 28th place, was just not having a fantastic run. She was appearing up there in the battles last week, but it's not the case tonight. Emily Potvin's car stalls as they're giving space to the lead lap cars to regroup. And as you see, the top 3 cars are Lucy Barnton, Jamal Schmidt, Rebecca Pellerin. Right there in 4th place is Blake Chandler. 5th place is Hibiki Murata with Lee Schmidt. And Lucy Barnton already runs away with the 1st position. She has a very good restart, already builds a gap on the 27, as we are now down to 49 laps to go. Patricia Stage just runs over the 14 of Adam Patterson, hits the wall, and that's another caution, the 4th caution in quite short notice. And this is gonna put Hibiki Murata as the 4th car on the lead lap. She is now back on the saddle, back on the battle. The Japanese driver having a fantastic run on the short track, something that we did not anticipate this season. As you see the pace truck pulling out, the 98 and the 27 restarting side by side, and looks like Lucy Barton lagged. Lucy Barton did not have a good start. Rebecca Pellerin takes the lead with under 40 laps to go. And now Rebecca Pellerin is the one to build the gap on Lucy Barton. Barton now She was about to run away with the championship lead, but Rebecca Pellerin takes the race lead and is gonna be able to at least stem some of the bleeding, as she had over 50 points on Barnton, lost those 50 points in such short notice, and is about to recover them as more problems befall Caitlin Richler this season. A tire down, she pits from 19th place. And back up front, Rebecca Pellerin continues to lead as she's opening a large gap on the 98, and this is fantastic for Pellerin because Pellerin needs to stem the bleeding. The lead went from 50 points to a 1-point deficit, and now she at least slows down the amount of points she's gonna lose with the lap led, as look, Pellerin and Emily Potvin make contact. Big crash, big incident. Big incident. Look, Pellerin goes airborne, strikes the fence, comes back down to rest. As you go together with Joy Thorson, they just crash outside of his viewpoint. You go together with Emily Potvin as she goes in. I don't know if Luke Pellerin brake checked her or she just dove just wrongly, but that's a big crash. Thankfully, as you see, the damage, the roof in that car was not damaged. The crash wasn't as fast as you think it may have been. A lot of energy has been dissipated, so Luke Pellerin had no issue to climb out despite the big scare. The 88, the driver of the 88 was able to climb out with no issue. He was checked in the infield care center and he was in perfect condition. And that was a big scare for his sister. And I think she was so shook, the 98 caught her on the flip side on the restart. Lucy Barnton retakes the lead with only 15 laps to go. Riley McKee is back on the lead lap, going for the second position, but Rebecca Pellerin is not going to let that happen as they go 3 wide. Riley McKee on the inside, trying to make the move. Is it going to be enough at the stripe? He passes Pellerin, but Pellerin's going to be able to work her way around him as Mac Haley, who's currently in 9th place for some reason, is battling with the leaders as we enter the final 10 laps. And that's going to be the tonic of this final few laps as Lucy Barnton leads Mac Haley, who is 2 laps down, who leads Rebecca Pellerin, who's now stuck in second. And Rebecca Pellerin had the chance of winning this race, and she just befell a very untimely caution as Lucy Barnton takes the white flag, rounds out turns 1 and 2. Brett Finley is gonna go past the 27. That's not for position either. And rounding out turns 3 and 4 to get her 4th win of the season, Lucy Barnton takes it in Jukasa. Lucy Barnton takes an extremely important win over Rebecca Pellerin, so this one's gonna have direct interference into the series championship, with Riley McKee finishing in 3rd place after starting in 4th. Jamal Schmidt climbed all the way to 4th, while Hibiki Murata climbed all the way to 5th. 1 lap down, together with her, Ashley Richardson, pole position, Blake Chandler, and Lee Schmidt, while Mac Henley and Brett Finley finished 2 laps down. With this result, Lucy Barnton widens the gap to 16 points, which isn't quite enough. Rebecca Pellerin can still have her on her sights, but the gap has widened a lot to Thomas Tucker, Hibiki Murata, and Blake Chandler, who are now above 70 points behind. In the case of Murata and Chandler, 80 points behind. Murata has vaulted over Chandler and is now the lead rookie in the standings, while Kirk Jones now leads the drivers outside of the top 5 and outside 100 points. So it's gonna get very hard to have additional contenders if we don't have wilder races that shift momentum even further. The Rookie of the Year battle has a momentum shifter, with Hibiki Murata taking the lead from Blake Chandler by quite a margin, and Ryan Faulkner falls to 3rd together with Boyd Abbott still in 4th. Those 2 are going to be stationary in the amount of points they have because they're not going to run any of the races here in Canada. So the points they got, it's the points they're going to have until we return to the United States, while Charlie Faulkner now has a shot of jumping all the way to 4th, maybe 3rd if he's lucky. Same with Peter Johnson. Andrew Atwood is with 11.5, and Kip Lemon, Creeper Stevenson, and Jennifer Irving bring the rear of this fight. The next round for the GripAll Challenge Series will be in Quebec at the Circuit de Trois-Rivières, the second leg for the Fay Legacy Cup. It's the only street course we had in the whole season. It should be very, very interesting to see these cars throttle around a very narrow circuit. I'll see you next time.